What's up, everybody? Richard back today with another episode of the Warped Report. And man, oh man, we've had some stuff go down. Not like in terms of quantity of news, not a lot. But of course, we're going to touch on that, the whole Slipknot Machine Gun Kelly feud, Spiritbox, Rebel Rock Festival, and a few songs that came out. So let's dive into it right away. Most of you have probably seen this already by now, but Corey Taylor, after Machine Gun Kelly was on stage at that festival, he said, being a weird 50-year-old guy wearing a mask, yada, yada, yada. Corey Taylor has struck back with receipts of a conversation that he had with Travis Barker related to this here, which Machine Gun Kelly brings up, saying, Corey did a verse for a song on Tickets to My Downfall album. It was effing terrible, so I didn't use it. He got mad about it and talked crap to a magazine about the same album he was almost on. Y'all's stories are off. Just admit he's bitter. So basically with this, what he's referring to is Corey Taylor did an interview with a magazine in which he talked about people switching from one genre to another and, kind of speaking down on that. And, he didn't directly say Machine Gun Kelly, but you knew that's who he was referring to. So Corey comes out on Twitter and he shows these receipts of what happened. We're going to pull up the tweet here real quick. Okay. So you have Travis Barker pretty much saying, hey, man, cool. Look at these notes. Just gave this is pretty standard stuff here. Of course, not for maybe somebody of Corey's stature, but I remember, being in a band, it's not uncommon to, be talking to somebody about who's going to be featuring on a track or who's producing a track. And you're like, hey, man, this is cool, but what about this? I got a few notes, yada, yada, yada. So then Corey responded back with, hey, man, sorry, Mr. Cobb, blah, blah, blah. He said, listen, this isn't for me. Totally fine. Listen to me. When you're a person of Corey's stature, you don't need to take every feature job you're going to have. It is what it is. You don't really need to do that. So then from here, Machine Gun Kelly responded back and said, basically, your verse was really bad. Respectfully, I was just telling you to rewrite it because it was really bad. Respectfully, let's just do a Britney Spears cover song together. And I retweeted this along with this one because the saga continues, man. So the next thing I wanted to bring up too is Machine Gun Kelly was relentlessly booed during a performance at a metal fest last night by Slipknot fans. That's not a surprise. I guess when I think about this situation, I've been memeing around a lot on social media and stuff like that, talking about how Machine Gun Kelly is keeping metal news people in business. I mean, hey, listen, we're getting some mileage out of this story. You know what I mean? But so the way that I look at this story is this. Obviously, it started like everything was cool. Machine Gun Kelly wanted him to be featured. He said no. And then he did. I mean, Corey did kind of, reference him in that interview, talking about, failing in one genre and going to another, which, by the way, Machine Gun Kelly did not fail in rap. I mean, the guy was a highly Billboard charting artist, so he did very, very well. I mean, I'm not really, I can't name any Machine Gun Kelly songs besides Rap Devil. I'm not super into it. But he wasn't a failure. So when Corey's saying that, I mean, that definitely sets up for some more heat and animosity. Should Machine Gun Kelly have done that on stage? I guess, the way that I think about it is that, I totally understand, wanting to say something that's kind of outlandish, and, you're trying to capture some attention, trying to be a heel and whatnot. But I know that Finn McKenty had mentioned this, and this is exactly right. It's it's cool if you want to act that way and you're going to get more fans, but if you're doing it and it's a net negative, it's not really by virtue. I mean, that's not a positive for you, It's just not. So I don't think Corey should have said anything like that, but then I think Machine Gun Kelly also shot himself in the foot with a more rock or metal audience, which I think is what he's trying to, kind of tap into a little bit. So it is what it is. We'll see how this continues to evolve, but this has been quite the saga so far. I'm digging it. I am digging it. But next, Spiritbox, they debuted in the top 15, charting at number 13 on the Billboard Top 200. So it says here, referencing Eternal Blue, the record tallied roughly 23,000 in album equivalent units during its first week of release in the United States. Of that total, some 19,000 were pure sales. That's crazy. Propelling Eternal Blue to a number 3 showing on the top album sales chart. And of course, they topped rock albums, hard rock, vinyl albums. And then in addition to their success in the U.S. charts, Spiritbox Eternal Blue cracked the top 20 in Germany and the United Kingdom, and bowed in the top 10 in Australia. So, yeah, the album did incredibly well, like, by metrics and all that. Like, I had a feeling they were going to chart, obviously, quite high in the Billboard top 200. I mean, that's just what it seemed like. This wasn't going to be like an outside of the top 200 thing. I knew they were going to be inside the top 200. I thought they'd be in the top 25, but man, 13, that's crazy. 19,000 pure sales, especially in 2021. That is absurd. That right there is a fan base that really cares about the success of the band. And that just speaks volumes, because I can't remember exactly what the conversion is for like an album, but I think it's like 1,000. I don't want to say anything incorrectly. So I know that it's a substantial amount of streams, which equates to an album sale. Like, it's quite a lot. So 19,000 pure sales, that's definitely going to obviously help. And with that propelled them way up there. So good on them. Very fantastic record. It's one of my top 3 albums of the year so far. So what a phenomenal job by Spiritbox cracking into the top 15. You know who didn't crack into the top 15 of anything? And that, top 15 festivals? Nope, Rebel Rock. They canceled it. You guys have probably already seen this by now, but just hours before it was supposed to formally kick off, they canceled it, which is pretty messed up if you ask me. They said the ground conditions, weren't good, blah, 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 blah. What was really cool is I saw some bands kind of putting on some free shows around the area to kind of make up for that, and that's really cool. This is just, this is awful. I mean, festivals have been, I don't know, like Blue Ridge Rock Festival, there's a lot of horror stories coming out of there. Rebel Rock's obviously canceled. I heard that Furnace Fest, which recently just happened at the time of this recording, went off very well. Minus, I think, Naughtilus's singer being beat up by security or something like that for crowd surfing. But either way, listen, man, festivals are cool. I think so. Obviously, with Rebel Rock being canceled, I mean that is unconscionable to happen just a few hours before it actually happens. But for Blue Ridge Rock Festival, I mean, they really kind of did something at a scale that is absolutely absurd. And I just don't know if they kind of had the correct, people running the show necessarily in terms of organization, everything like that. I think it was a little bit too big for the britches. But a festival like that is crazy. But I know we're talking about Rebel Rock here, right? But I'm just glad to see that. I saw some bands, like I said, were doing some free shows to kind of make up for this, which is awesome. But this really sucks, and I think this will probably make people think twice about going to Rebel Rock in the future, without a doubt. I mean, I don't know if I would, especially if you traveled from wherever to go and then they cancel it. That is awful. But now, Stick to Your Guns released a new song, More of Us Than Them. This song was awesome. This featured a breakdown that 𝗧𝗛𝗪, who, recently passed away, not recently in terms of the last year or so, but relatively recently, a guitar player for Architects passed away, and he wrote a breakdown, but he thought it was more Stick to Your Guns-esque, and he sent it to Jesse Barnett, the frontman of Stick to Your Guns, and he said, listen, this is more Stick to Your Guns than Architects, and they use that breakdown in this song. This was a chunky song, man. This was a really cool track. I highly, highly enjoyed it. I checked that out over on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Richard Next up, Whitechapel released a brand new song titled A Blood-Soaked Symphony. Listen, man, I liked the first single, Lost Boy, but it was a little bit this is okay, this is cool. Had that Tool bridge in there, very chaotic and then softer. It was okay, but A Blood-Soaked Symphony, man, this was the Whitechapel that I know and love. Absolutely disgusting track. I love this. The video had me entranced. If you have not seen the video, see, I got to talk to you about something real quick, okay, guys? Listen, if you're one of these people that goes out and listens to music on Spotify and you never watched the video, you are missing out, because the video to this song and the video to a lot of other tracks are really cool. Of course, you know, there's a lot of djenting in colored rooms. I totally understand that. But the video for this song was impeccable. David Brodsky directed it. I don't know who David Brodsky is, but what a phenomenal freaking job, man. And their album, Kin, is going to be coming out October 29th on Metal Blade Records. And then, this is pretty cool. I did not expect to see a new As I Lay Dying song, but we got one here titled Roots Below. I guess this was supposed to be a B-side from their previous record, Shaped by Fire. This was a fun track. Cool chorus, no breakdown, couple of solos. Solid track. I mean, nothing that's going to make me go wild or anything like that. But you have a quote here that says, "It's been refreshing to get back to the creative process with the team of songwriters being intact that have been writing with me since they joined the band. The lyrics were influenced by someone I recently met who shared a story of trauma with me and would have destroyed most people, yet from that struggle came strength, openness, and growth that inspired me." So that was a quote there from Tim Lambesis, I think. It doesn't actually even say. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, Tim Lambesis. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, the track was pretty cool. Nothing too crazy, but, you know, your typical standard As I Lay Dying kind of tracks, some really fun riffs. Tim was doing some different kind of vocals in this one, too, like trying to go, like, super low. And you kind of have, like, some blackish metal type of screams in here as well. Couple solos, no breakdown, which, you know, listen, I love it. Hey, listen, okay, I love my breakdown, so there's no breakdown. I'm a little sad, but, you know, I thought it was a cool track nonetheless, man. And looking forward to some more As I Lay Dying post-Nick Hippa era. With that said, everybody, that is it for this week's episode of The Warped Report. What side are you, like, listen, remove the emotions out of it, okay? Look at it just from facts and whatnot. Whose side are you on, Machine Gun Kelly or Corey Taylor? I'm sure you're going to say Corey Taylor. Spiritbox in the top 15, charting at number 13. What are your thoughts on that? Were you supposed to go to Rebel Rock Festival? If somebody out there was actually supposed to go to Rebel Rock Festival, man, I want to hear from you. And then what did you think of the Stick to Your Guns, White Chap on As I Lay Dying track? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next week's episode of The Warped Report, I'm out of here. Peace.